You lie in bed, and deep inside, your body keeps perfect time. Every cell listens to a rhythm, not from a clock on the wall, but one written in molecules and whispered in light. Your inner timekeeper never sleeps, even when you do. Your eyes are closed, but your body is wide awake in its own quiet way. Beneath your skin, beyond your thoughts, a rhythm unfolds, soft, steady, sure. This rhythm is not loud, like a ticking clock, but deeper, more ancient one, written into the chemistry of your very cells. Inside each of your trillions of cells lives a small, silent clock. It doesn't have hands, or numbers, or gears. Instead, it measures time through a dance of proteins, rising and falling in cycles like the tide. One set of molecules appears, then disappears, then another, and another, always in order. You feel your chest rise. What you don't feel is that your body already knows what time it is, because these clocks have been keeping track all day, telling your organs when to wake, when to rest, when to release hormones, when to build and when to repair. This system is called your circadian rhythm. Circa means around, and dies means day, around a day. Your body runs on a 24-hour loop, not because of the clocks on the wall, but because long ago your biology learned to follow the sun. Even in total darkness, your body would still try to live by this pattern. It's that deep, that old. It remembers the turning of the earth in the chemistry of your cells. Your brain has a master clock tucked deep behind your eyes. It's called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, but you don't need to remember its name. Just know that it sits above the place where your optic nerves cross. This means it sees what your eyes see. And when light enters your eyes in the morning, this master clock awakens every other clock in your body, like a quiet conductor lifting their baton. It cues your heart, your liver, your lungs, your skin, each with their own version of time, each tuned gently by the rise and fall of sunlight. This is why your body feels different in the morning than it does at night. You may think it's your mood or your sleep, but beneath it all, molecules are rising and falling, telling your organs what part of the day they're in. And it goes both ways. When you stay up late, your body notices. Your clock shifts. When you eat at midnight, your liver's timekeeper grows confused. When you travel across time zones, your clocks take days to realign. This is jet lag, not just tiredness, but the struggle of hundreds of clocks trying to agree again. Even the temperature of your body rises and falls on a schedule. It dips gently at night to prepare for sleep, then rises in the morning to wake you. This is why cool rooms feel comforting at bedtime. You are moving with your internal time. But these clocks don't just help you sleep, they help you heal. Wounds close faster at certain times of day. Some medicines work better in the morning, others at night. Your cells listen for the right moment because even healing has its schedule. Scientists call this field chronobiology, the study of biological time. It's how we know that time isn't just something we watch, it's something we are. Every heartbeat, every hormone, every feeling of hunger or rest is a part of time's chemistry unfolding within you. Even as you lie still now, your body is following this internal guide. Cells in your brain are sending signals like tiny whispers, telling your limbs to relax, your temperature to lower, your mind to drift. And as you drift, your body doesn't forget time. It remembers, it adjusts, it prepares. You might think sleep is a pause, but it's not. It's a shift in rhythm, a new chapter in the cycle. Just as day becomes night, your waking body becomes your sleeping one. And while you sleep, your clocks keep ticking. Not loudly, not harshly, but like the gentle swing of a pendulum in a room full of dreams. You are a living clock tower, but instead of bells, your body rings in chemical rhythms. Instead of ticking hands, you have molecules always cycling, always returning. You don't need to control it. You don't even need to understand it. But you can feel it in the way your eyelids grow heavier now. In the comfort of darkness, in the soft pull of rest. This clock inside you doesn't demand anything. It only asks that you listen, that you move with it gently, that you allow it to carry you into sleep like a slow river winding toward the sea. And just as the sleepy scientist closes their notes at the end of a long day, you too can let go. Your time is not running out. It's simply moving onward from one rhythm to the next, from this moment into the next chapter of time's quiet chemistry. Time isn't only counted, it's felt. Moments stretch when you wait, shrink when you laugh. Your heartbeat, your breath, your thoughts all mark time in their own ways. What is a second, really, if it moves with your feelings? You lie still, your body softening into the sheets. Outside, the world ticks on. But inside you, time does something different. It doesn't tick, it breathes. Think of a moment you waited for something, really waited. A phone call, a result, the end of a hard day. That moment stretched, didn't it? Like a rubber band, pulling at the edges of your patience. Now, think of a moment that passed too quickly. Laughter with someone you love, or a sunset you barely caught. It vanished like fog, leaving only the trace of warmth behind. Time is supposed to be measured in seconds, each one identical. 62 a minute, 60 minutes to an hour. It's regular, logical, clean, but your body doesn't keep time that way. Your body breathes it. It expands and contracts based on feeling. 1 minute of joy is not the same as 1 minute of fear. Your nervous system knows that. Your heart knows that. Your mind, even in dreams, stretches or compresses time like soft clay. There is a part of your brain, the insula, that helps sense the passage of time based on your body's rhythms. It listens to your heartbeat, your breath, your muscles. It gathers signals like a conductor collecting notes, and from them, it tells your mind how time feels. Not how long time is, but how long it feels. Right now, feel your breath, the slow rise, the slower fall. 1 breath might take 5 seconds. Another might take 7, but neither feels the same. Because your body gives each breath its own tempo, based on what you need, what you feel, and how still your mind has become. Even your heartbeat is a clock of sorts, but not one that stays. Fixed, it speeds up when you're startled, slows down when you're at peace. This variability is not a flaw. It's a form of intelligence. It's your body's way of matching time to emotion, situation, dream. Some scientists believe we keep track of short moments, not with a ticking clock in the brain, but by counting the pulses of our own bodies, like stepping stones across a river. Each step, each beat helps us move from now to next. This is why time feels longer when your heart races. It's why fear stretches seconds into hours, and calm turns minutes into something that barely brushes your skin. Even memories carry time differently. 1 day can hold 1,000 impressions, smells, sounds, feelings, and feel endless. Another day, dull and familiar, slips away without leaving a mark. You measure time not by clocks, but by the depth of your experience. How many moments truly touched you? Now think of dreams. Have you ever woken from a dream that felt like hours, only to find a few minutes had passed? In dreams, your mind lets go of regular time. It folds it, bends it, reshapes it like light through water. There, a second can contain a story. A blink can become a journey. This flexibility isn't magic. It's your brain doing what it does best, translating rhythm, memory, sensation into a living experience of time. When you were a child, summer felt endless. Each day dripped slowly like honey from the sun. Now, as an adult, those same weeks vanish. Why? Because newness stretches time. When everything is unfamiliar, your mind takes note, pausing to process each detail. More details mean more memories. Familiarity, on the other hand, lets time slide unnoticed. Routine is smooth. It doesn't catch. It doesn't leave edges, so, in a way, you control how fast time feels, not by changing the clock, but by choosing how fully you inhabit each moment as you lie here. Drifting, you are not bound by the ticking of the second hand. You are floating in felt time, the soft, liquid kind. The kind that moves like waves, not like gears. Your breath becomes the metronome. Your heart sets the rhythm, and your thoughts, slow, wandering, quiet, become the scenery through which time flows. You may wonder, then, what is a second? Not in the strict, scientific way, not the way we define it with atomic vibrations and formulas. But what is it to you? A second can be the space between two blinks, the distance between a thought and a word, the flutter between inhale and exhale. Or it can be the cradle where an entire memory is born. You live in these seconds, not above them, not after them, within them. Even now, as sleep begins to reach for you, you are not leaving time behind. You are entering a slower version of it. In dreams, time may move sideways. It may echo. It may forget itself. But it always returns when you wake. And so, as your body slows, as your mind softens, you are not losing control. You are stepping into a more natural rhythm, one that listens not to machines, but to breath. And breath, as you know, is a gentle clock. A second that expands and contracts and expands again. Let your thoughts drift with it. Let go of the ticking. Feel the stretch, the softness, the moment before sleep, when seconds stop counting and begin to breathe, to breathe. As time flows, your cells age, not like metal rusting, but more like stories slowly folding into memory. Why does your body age? Because chemistry, quietly and gently, writes change into your skin. You lie still, wrapped in warmth, your body soft and surrendered to the hush of the room. Outside, the world continues to spin. Inside, so does your story. Every part of you has been writing this story since the day you began. And like all stories, it moves forward, page by page, breath by breath. This aging, not a breaking, but a deep unfolding. You might imagine aging as decline, but tonight, let's see it differently. Let's see it as transformation, a slow, natural alchemy written in the chemistry of your cells. Alchemy, long ago, was the dream of turning base metals into gold. But your body is already doing something just as wondrous. It is turning the present moment into a memory, fresh skin into softened lines, youth into wisdom. You are a living alchemist, and your gold is time. Spun gently into your being. Let's begin where the story truly starts, in your cells. Each one is a tiny world, a soft bag of water and salt and life, holding the blueprint of who you are. Inside the center of each cell is your DNA, twisted and coiled like a library of instructions. Every time a cell divides, it copies this DNA so the next generation can remember who you are. But with each copy, a little piece shortens the ends of your chromosomes, called telomeres, grow just a bit smaller. Think of telomeres as the plastic tips on shoelaces. They protect the ends, keep things neat, but over time, they fray. Not suddenly, not all at once, but gradually, with each quiet replication. And when they become too short, the cell knows it's time to rest, to stop dividing, to grow. Still, this shortening is not a flaw. It is nature's way of marking time. Like the rings in a tree, your cells carry their own count of seasons past. But aging is not just about telomeres. It's about wear, about energy, about whispers between. Molecules within each of your cells are tiny engines called mitochondria. You might remember the word from school. They take food and turn it into energy, a kind of soft fire that fuels everything you do, thinking, breathing, dreaming. But with every spark of energy they create, a little smoke escapes. Tiny byproducts called free radicals. Over time, these radicals bump into DNA, into proteins, into the membranes of your cells, and cause tiny damages. Like pages of a book exposed to the sun, the edges yellow. The ink fades. The story is still there, but its texture changes. Your body tries to repair these damages with enzymes and molecules that sweep up the clutter. But even cleanup slows with time. Not because your body gives up, but because balance changes. The dance softens. The tempo shifts. You may have noticed how your skin changes, grows thinner, more lined, or how your joints feel a little stiffer. These are not failures. They are quiet evidence of the chemistry within you, still working, still adapting, still marking time in its patient way. Even your senses are part of this alchemy. Your eyes once caught every flicker of light. Now they prefer the calm of contrast. Your ears once caught high songs of birds. Now they lean toward lower tones, the hush of wind, the comfort of breath. It is not a loss. It is a tuning, and with tuning comes something else. Memory. Your brain also ages not by forgetting, but by prioritizing, by choosing what to keep close, what to let fade. Some parts of the brain, like the hippocampus, your memory's gatekeeper, may shrink slightly with time. But others, like the areas for emotion, and empathy can deepen, strengthen. That's why older minds often feel wiser, calmer, more able to see the whole picture. They are not just storing facts, they are weaving meaning, and your heart, your quiet, faithful heart, it too changes. Its walls thicken slightly, its rhythm may grow slower, but it beats with the strength of time well spent, with the rhythm of stories lived. Even your immune system shifts. It becomes more selective, more precise, less likely to rush, more likely to wait and watch. This is aging, not decay, but refinement. Not breaking down, but evolving into something deeper, more subtle. And science, too, is learning to see it this way. Researchers now speak of health span, not just lifespan. The years lived well, not merely long. They study epigenetics, how environment and choices can influence how your genes express themselves, like soft marks in the margins of your DNA. Your life shapes the story. Aging, then, is not just what happens to you. It's also what happens through you. The way you eat, rest, move, connect, these choices become part of the chemistry of time and sleep. This moment, right now, is one of the most powerful forces of all. It is during sleep that your body repairs, your brain clears waste, your cells refresh. Sleep is not absence, it is renewal. You are not drifting away. You are softening into growth. So let go of the myth that youth is the only gold. There is gold in the slow burn of age, in the chemistry of change, in the wisdom of time that lingers in your bones. Aging is not rust. It is patina. It is the way copper turns green in the rain, the way paper smells richer over years, the way stories gain weight as they are told again and again. You are not fading. You are deepening. So now, as your breath slows, as your thoughts ripple gently outward, let this truth settle. Your body is not behind time. It is time's keeper, its reflection, its quiet, enduring echo. And just as the molecules continue their soft alchemy in your cells, a question begins to rise, soft as mist on a morning field. What tells your body when the day begins, and how? Does light shape the rhythm of time within you? Sunlight is a messenger of time. Your body hears the morning through your eyes, and hormones awaken like flowers opening to light. This is how time travels from the sky into your blood. Somewhere beyond your window, morning is stirring, not loudly, not all at once, but with a soft shimmer, a slow golden tide spilling over rooftops and branches. And even if your eyes remain closed, your body remembers the light. Light is not just brightness. It is information. It is the quiet conductor that synchronizes the symphony of your cells. You see, every living thing on earth has grown up in the rhythm of light. Sunrise and sunset, brightness and shadow. Even the flowers know it. Even the tiniest insects respond. And your body, ancient in its memory, has learned to listen deeply to that rhythm. It is through light that your internal clock, your circadian rhythm, knows when to wake, when to sleep, when to bloom, and when to rest. This begins with your eyes. Not the part you see with, but deeper cells at the back of your retina, special ones that don't care about shapes or colors, but only light itself. These cells contain a pigment called melanopsin, a word that sounds like a whisper from a distant star. When morning light touches it, a signal is sent straight to your brain, to the suprachiasmatic nucleus, a name as long as the day it governs. This cluster of neurons, tiny, precise, sits just above where your optic nerves cross. It is your body's master clock, and light is its alarm. When it senses the pale blue of dawn, it begins to set things in motion. It tells your pineal gland, a grain-sized organ nestled deep in your brain, to slow its release of melatonin, the hormone that lulls you toward sleep. As melatonin fades, wakefulness rises. Your body temperature gently increases. Your blood pressure stirs. Your metabolism prepares. All from the message of light. Light is the brushstroke that repaints your body for the day. It tells your cells that it is time to shift, to produce energy, to become alert. And it's not just your brain that listens. Your liver, your muscles, your gut, they each have their own clocks, their own rhythms. And while they can tick on, their own for a time, they drift without light. That is why waking up to natural morning light feels different. It doesn't just brighten your room. It calibrates your body. And yet, it's not only about waking. Light also tells your body when to sleep. As the day fades, the quality of light changes warmer, softer, low, in blue waves. This shift is subtle, but your body notices. Your eyes quietly signal again, prepare to rest. In response, your pineal gland begins its work. It releases melatonin like a gentle tide. This chemical doesn't knock you out. It opens the door. It dims the lights of thought. It smooths the edges of awareness. And so, like a leaf curling toward sleep, you drift. But what happens when we interrupt the fall of night? Artificial light, especially from screens, can confuse this ancient rhythm. The blue light from phones and tablets mimics daylight. To your brain, it says, stay awake. It says, it's still daytime. This is why late-night scrolling can feel like rest, but leave you restless. Your body hears one thing. You're eyes report another. The rhythm is disturbed, but you can soften it. You can choose warm light in the evenings. You can dim the screens. You can walk in the morning sun and help your rhythm reset, because your body is always listening, always adjusting. Even clouds don't stop this message. Light filters through, not as sharply, but still enough. And even when you close your eyes, some light still reaches those deep, sensitive cells. Even in sleep, your biology listens for the shape of day and night. This light time dance is not unique to humans. Plants fold their leaves based on sunlight. Birds sing when the light changes. Coral reefs glow and pulse by the cycles of moonlight. Every life form is guided by the sky, and it's beautiful, isn't it? To know that even without clocks, without calendars, your body knows what time it is, because the sky tells it so. Even your mood is touched by light, by light. Some people feel heavier in the winter, not because of cold, but because the light fades. Fewer hours of brightness can mean less serotonin, another messenger molecule, one that brings ease and contentment. This is why sunny mornings can feel like hope itself, because light isn't just visual. It stirs things beneath language as you lie here. Imagine the first light of morning, not harsh, not sudden, but gentle, gold-tinged, reaching across the floor in soft angles. Your skin doesn't see it, but it feels the warmth. Your brain doesn't analyze it, but it responds. Your breath lengthens. Your cells listen. You are not separate from the sun. You are tuned to it like a tide to the moon, like the turning of a sunflower. And even here, in the dark, your body remembers light. It knows that day will come again. It knows how to prepare, how to wait, because time for your body is not just minutes. It is brightness. It is shadow. It is the gentle fall of light through your blood. And as the sleepy scientist closes their journal on this chapter, they begin to wonder something deeper. If light can set the rhythm of your body, what happens when temperature changes time's pace as well? Inside your body, a quiet clock ticks, not made of gears, but of molecules and rhythms. This chapter explores the chemistry of your circadian rhythm, where light, hormones, and time quietly whisper to your cells. You'll feel the flow of melatonin, the hush of sleep chemicals rising like a tide, and you'll drift through the soft ballet of your body's internal timekeeper inside you. There is a clock, a chemical one, not made of numbers or hands, but of gentle pulses and shifting molecules that move with the rhythm of day and night. It does not chime, but it hums, steadily and softly, beneath the surface of your waking and sleeping life. It lives in your brain, in a region called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN, but it speaks to every part of you: your heart, your lungs, your liver, your skin. This is your circadian rhythm, your internal timekeeper. And even now, as you lie here, it watches the dark and counts the hours until dawn. It begins with light. Your eyes are not just for seeing, they are also windows for time. When morning light touches the back of your eye, it travels to the SAN, telling it that the world is awake. The SCN responds by sending chemical messengers through your body, adjusting everything from your temperature to your appetite. Your body begins to rise, slowly, like mist lifting from a meadow. Blood pressure increases, alertness grows, and the quiet chemistry of awakening begins. But now it is night, and the rhythm has shifted. In the darkness, another messenger takes the stage: melatonin. Produced in the pineal gland, melatonin flows like a soft stream, slowly building in the bloodstream as the sun disappears. It doesn't make you sleep directly, but it opens the gate. It tells the body that the time for rest is near. You can almost feel it, the gentle pull behind your eyes, the way your limbs become heavier, your thoughts slower. Melatonin is the lullaby of molecules. Your temperature dips slightly, a subtle cue, barely noticed, but deeply felt. Your body cools to prepare for rest, and your digestive system slows its rhythm. The chemistry of sleep begins as a soft retreat, a folding inward. Cortisol, the wake-up chemical, declines. Heart rate eases. Breathing becomes rhythmic, deeper, slower. The world outside grows still, and the world inside follows. This dance of molecules is ancient, older than cities, older than books. Even single-celled organisms have circadian rhythms. Tiny cyanobacteria in the ocean pulse, with the sun and moon rising and resting in microscopic unison. Your body carries this same song, a thread of time passed down through billions of years. But the rhythm is not rigid. It breathes. It bends gently to your habits, your choices. If you stay awake past midnight, your body adjusts, even as it resists. If you travel across time zones, your rhythm stumbles and jet lag arrives. The awkward dissonance of chemistry out of tune with the light. It can take days for the molecules to find the beat again. Your circadian rhythm governs more than just sleep and wake. It affects your metabolism, your mood, your memory. It decides when your cells repair themselves, when your immune system stands watch, when your muscles feel strongest. You are not just a person in time. You are time, written in chemical letters, unfolding hour by hour. There is a special kind of cell that helps keep the beat clock genes. These genes, with names like clock and purr, create proteins that rise and fall in a cycle every 24 hours. These proteins regulate other genes, telling your body when to perform thousands of tasks, right? It is like a chemical symphony where each gene knows when to enter, when to fade, when to rest. Even your emotions sway with the rhythm. Studies show that people tend to feel happiest in the morning and late evening, and lowest in the mid-afternoon. Your mind is not separate from the clock. It listens closely, even if you do not dot. As you lie here now, your melatonin has likely reached its peak. Your body is in its most restful chemical state. Muscles release tension. Thoughts grow slow and wave-like. The chemical clock is in nighttime mode, whispering to your brain that it is safe to drift, to surrender to the slow current of sleep. And while you sleep, the rhythm does not stop. It shifts gently into another phase, one that controls the architecture of your dreams. Your brain moves through REM and non-REM cycles, each with its own chemical signature. During REM, your brain becomes active, almost wakeful, and your body paralyzes itself to keep you still. This, too, is part of the rhythm. Like tides, like seasons, it moves even as you rest. You may wonder, can this rhythm be changed? The answer is gently. Exposure to morning sunlight can anchor your clock. Avoiding bright lights at night can encourage melatonin to flow. Regular meal times, gentle exercise, calming routines, all these are cues your body listens to, like instruments tuning before a concert. But most of all, it is light that leads. Morning light resets your clock each day. It is the conductor of the entire chemical orchestra. And now you are in the opposite state, the phase of darkness. Your body is winding down. Your breath is slow. The molecules inside you whisper lullabies. The sleepy scientist within you has slowed her work, letting the chemistry of rest take over. No test tubes here, no flasks, only hormones, rhythms, and the soft ticking of time within. And so you begin to understand. Time is not just what you see on a watch or a calendar. It is what you feel in your bones, what your cells sense in the deep hours of the night. It is the ebb and flow of chemistry inside your skin. And just as your body carries time, it also remembers it. Every organ has its own rhythm, its own beat. The liver has its own clock. So does the heart. Even your skin, your gut, they listen to the central clock, but also follow their own patterns. Like dancers keeping time together, but in their own steps. Your body is a symphony of rhythms. Your chemistry is a circle that turns with the earth. And just as it has been turning all your life, it will continue guiding, adjusting, listening, waiting. And perhaps, as you feel this rhythm inside you now, You wonder if your body carries a clock. What does time feel like to your mind? What happens when the chemistry of time begins, not in the body, but in the thoughts? That quiet question, soft and patient, waits gently in the dark, ready to be explored next. It's quiet tonight, quieter than usual, the kind of quiet that hums with its own hidden music, low, slow, patient. You sit at your desk, one sock on, the other missing in action, somewhere under the bed. Your lab coat is still on, though it smells faintly of old chalk and time-worn fabric. The desk lamp glows amber, casting long, sleepy shadows across the notebook you forgot to close. But instead of scribbling more equations or pressing buttons on the blinking console behind you, you just sit and wait, because tonight's experiment isn't about reacting quickly. It's not about explosions or fizz or color changes. It's about decay, soft, silent, invisible decay. The kind you can't hear or see, only measure. You're tracking the half-life of an unstable isotope, one that lives for centuries before becoming something else, something simpler. You're not trying to hurry it. You couldn't if you wanted to. Instead, you're trying to understand the science of waiting. You once read that every radioactive particle is like a whispered promise. It will eventually let go, but it might take a long time. That idea made you sleepy even then. Tonight, you press your cheek gently against the cool metal of your measuring equipment. The machine ticks every few seconds, detecting faint emissions, tiny shifts, like a heartbeat under layers of stone. Outside your window, the stars don't blink. They shimmer as if they're breathing in time with you. You wonder, do stars decay? Do they grow tired of burning? The isotope in your vial is tucked safely behind a thick lead shield. It just waits, subsisting halfway between what it was and what it will become. You can almost relate. You sit for a while, not moving, letting your thoughts drift into the half-life of things. The time it takes for something to lose half its energy, half its identity. Your tea is cold now. It was warm when you poured it, when you thought you might stay awake. But temperature, too, has a half-life. Heat always flows outward, never inward, till everything feels the same. Tepid, balanced. Still, you sip anyway. Not for the taste, but for the comfort of routine. As you drink, you think about how many things in life operate on a half-life. Not just isotopes, not just heat, feelings, friendships, wounds, even sorrow, even love. Nothing ever disappears completely, not all at once. It just softens over time, fades gently, like chalk on a blackboard after many rains. The scientist in you knows this is entropy. The poet in you calls it mercy. You remember your first lesson on radioactive decay. Your teacher had drawn a graph on the board, a steep curve sloping downward, never quite touching zero. This, they said, is how we measure time when time won't show itself. You'd found it oddly beautiful, this quiet unraveling, this patient transformation. Tonight, you think about that graph again. You imagine the line is your own. Breath curving gently downward toward rest. It doesn't mean disappearing. It means becoming something else, something less charged, something less restless. Maybe that's what sleep is. To a kind of soft decay of waking dot. The machine clicks again. A tiny blip, barely a whisper. One atom, lest you smile. There it is, the science of slowness. Decay doesn't mean destruction. It means release. The isotope lets go of what it no longer needs. A neutron here, a photon there, a photon there. Energy becomes memory, and then memory becomes quiet. Your eyelids feel heavy. You resist just for a moment, but then you think of the particle inside the shield, how it doesn't resist, and waits for the rest to happen. You think maybe you can learn from that, so you turn off the lamp. You crawl into bed, finally finding the other sock, though you don't put it on. The room hums with residual warmth. The air smells faintly of metal, chalk, and something more abstract. Time, maybe, or understanding as you sink beneath the blanket. You imagine your own thoughts losing energy, falling apart gently, becoming smaller and quieter. You think, I don't need to finish. I only need to let go. I don't need to rush. I only need to be. I don't need to know when. Only that it will dot. Outside, a star dies. Somewhere else, another is born. You exhale, and sleep catches you mid-thought, like a particle finally choosing peace in the silence between heartbeats. There lives a question: what truly marks the passing of time? Tonight, you'll wander through the gaps between seconds, the pauses between chemical reactions, and the stillness of empty space. You'll learn how pauses and rests shape the rhythm of time in nature, from atomic vibrations to celestial drift. This chapter gently traces the architecture of silence and how what doesn't happen can define everything that does. Close your eyes and feel time slow, not in motion, but in the spaces between. Your body is very still. Even your breath feels quieter now, as if the world has hushed just to listen. You're here, resting not inside a moment, but between them. There is a curious stillness that exists in the spaces time leaves behind, the silent pauses that slip between each tick of the clock, you begin to notice how time doesn't just move in a line. It pulses, like the rhythm of a lullaby. It swells and softens. Every moment of activity, a thought, a blink, a chemical reaction, is followed by a moment of rest. And though we often measure time in motion, in clocks and waves and orbits, the truth is, time lives just as deeply in what doesn't move. Imagine a pendulum. It swings left, it swings right. But have you ever noticed the stillness at the height of each swing? The place where the pendulum pauses, almost suspended, weightless, before the next descent. That is the space you're in now. The apex of a thought, a breath before continuation. In chemistry, there are moments when molecules approach one another, but do not yet react. These tiny lulls, called transition states, are fleeting, immeasurable, and yet utterly essential. Without the stillness before the bond, no reaction would occur. The universe, even in its busiest transformations, honors this pause. So what is this space between seconds? Is it empty? Not at all. Even in silence, there is structure. In music, it is the rest between notes that gives melody its shape. In the sky, the blackness between stars makes constellations visible. In your own thoughts, it is the quiet moments, the stillness before sleep, the breath before speech that give meaning to what comes next. Physicists study time as something woven into the very fabric of the universe. They speak of Planck time, the smallest possible unit of time, so small that even light cannot cross an atom in that interval. Between those infinitesimal beats of the cosmic drum, the universe ... waits, or perhaps listens. Even atoms have rhythm. Their electrons do not orbit like planets around a sun, but rather they shimmer between energy levels in patterns called quantum transitions. These transitions are not smooth. They occur suddenly between measurable states, and for a moment, there is uncertainty, a pause, a not knowing, a stillness. Your body, too, knows this rhythm. When your heart beats, there is a space, a diastole, where it rests. When you breathe, there's a brief moment between inhale and exhale where the air simply ... waits. Stillness is not the opposite of life. It's a part of it, and so you wonder, if time is a river, then what are the eddies? The quiet pools where water hesitates, circling before continuing downstream. In ancient traditions, time was often seen as cyclical, not a straight arrow, but a wheel. Within these cycles, there were sacred pauses, solstices, equinoxes, moments of cosmic breath. Farmers waited for the right season. Animals paused in hibernation. Stars seemed to freeze at certain points in the sky before beginning their journeys again. Nature understands the importance of waiting. You begin to think of your own life, how the most profound changes often come not during chaos or activity, but in the quiet after the storm, after the decision, after the day ends and sleep begins. In these in-between spaces, something unfolds. Not forward, but inward. It is here, between seconds, that reflection lives, where ideas ripen and time stretches thin, not in urgency, but in softness. Sometimes we fear stillness. We rush to fill it with sound or tasks, but stillness is not emptiness. It is richness unspoken, a cup not yet filled, a page not yet turned. The sleepy scientist in your imagination now leans back in their chair, a candle flickering beside them. Papers are scattered, thoughts unfinished. They are simply breathing in the quiet, trusting that the silence is part of the work. And maybe that's what you're doing, too. Because here, now, in this precise moment, nothing is required of you. Not even thought, just presence, just being. You are floating between seconds, between notes of a lullaby you've heard since birth, the music of your body, your planet, your stars. Time is not just movement. It is also pause. It is in this stillness that meaning is born. And so you let yourself soften into the quiet, knowing that what comes next is shaped by this rest. Because after stillness comes something new. Something unfolds in the silence, in the space where time holds its breath. And perhaps you begin to wonder what that next breath might bring. Somewhere deep within the cells of your body, molecules remember. Not with thoughts, but with shape, with rhythm, with subtle folds of time. You are not just made of atoms. You are shaped by patterns, and the chemistry of memory is not just in your mind. Tonight, you'll trace how molecules remember, even in silence. There is something soft and forgotten tucked inside your skin. Not memory in the way you usually think of it. Not birthdays or names or colors, but a different kind. Molecular memory, the memory of molecules. Your body, in all its quietness, remembers things without you knowing. And in the silence of night, this memory stirs gently, like leaves brushing together in a windless room. You lie still, and your cells do not. Inside each one, proteins fold and unfold like origami swans. The folding matters. The shape a protein takes is how it knows what to do, how to help you see, or breathe, or dream. And the shape it takes depends on what came before. A history of contact, a history of heat, a history of pressure and presence. It is a kind of molecular whisper passed down between shapes. Imagine a single protein, not too small. It drifts in a sea of water, curled just so. It bumps into something familiar, something it's met before. And in that bump, it remembers, ah, here is where I twist. Here is where I lock into place. It folds in a specific way because it has folded that way before. Not memory with awareness, but memory through repetition, a kind of chemical instinct. This, you see, is how life preserves time without a clock. A shape repeated is a shape remembered. It is how enzymes recognize the same sugar over and over again. How hormones know which door to knock on. How DNA is read and rewritten faithfully for decades. You are a story told in repeating shapes. A poem written by the folding of molecules. Let yourself drift down into your own body now, into a single cell, into a space so small that time almost stops. See how proteins move with purpose, how they respond to the molecular language written around them. Each one carries its own logic, its own way of interpreting the past. Some proteins even tag others, saying, remember this for later. Like string tied around a finger, a signal, a mark. This is not just biology, it's the slow chemistry of time. A memory that does not fade as easily as thought. When you remember a song, your neurons fire in a pattern. But when your cell remembers an infection, it changes its shape, its code, its sensitivity. These are deeper memories, harder to erase. They last not just days, but years. Sometimes lifetimes. You inhale gently, and even the air you breathe is part of this. The oxygen carries information, not just fuel, but instruction. Your lungs remember the rhythm of breathing. Your muscles remember how to lift your hand, even when your mind forgets. These are physical memories, molecular habits. Science has a word for part of this: epigenetics. It's the study of how your genes are turned on or off, not by changing the letters of your DNA, but by adjusting how accessible they are, like bookmarks, like tiny chemical tags saying, this part of the story is important. And these bookmarks, these epigenetic marks, can last. They can be passed down. Your grandmother's famine, your father's stress, your own joy, all of it can ripple through generations. Not just in emotion, but in molecular memory. Now, let this idea drift further. Even water has a kind of memory. Not in the magical way some claim, but in the real chemical sense. Water clusters can change based on what they've touched. Ions can alter their structure. Temperature leaves a trace. So when water wraps itself around a protein or a strand of DNA, it too is part of the remembering. It shapes how memory is stored. Because even in sleep, memory forms, not just in the mind, but in the body. Sleep is when cells decide what to keep, what to let go of. It's when your brain rewires itself and your immune system files away lessons. Night is not just rested, is the hour of internal librarians organizing the chemistry of your past. As you lie here, your molecules are storing moments. They are whispering across your body, arranging their dance for another day. You are being rewritten, gently, quietly, in sleep. This version of you will carry new memories in the morning, not just stories in your head, but patterns in your skin, in your gut, in your blood. You are a memory in motion, a soft container for time. And somewhere deep in this memory, there is still something unknown. A question that lingers in the fold of a protein, in the rhythm of a gene. Why do some memories pass on? Why do others vanish? What decides which shape stays and which dissolves into forgetfulness? Perhaps the answer lies in what comes next. In the place where time is measured, not just by memory, but by decay. What happens when a molecule forgets? Beneath the hush of the sky, you drift into the laboratories of the cosmos. There, stars burn not in haste, but in patient reactions of unimaginable scale. The universe brews its chemistry in silence, scattering the elements of life. Tonight, your thoughts join hydrogen in fusion, quiet, powerful, eternal. And just like a star, you too are made of what once shimmered far away. You lie still, your breath steady, your eyes barely closed, and yet already your mind lifts, weightless. Above you, a canvas stretches wide, vast, velvet black, pricked by the silver stitches of distant stars. There's a laboratory far beyond our world, one without flasks or formulas written in chalk. In this lab, the scientists are stars themselves, and their work unfolds over billions of years, not minutes. Out here, time takes a different shape. It lengthens and softens, stretching across light years. You enter this celestial workspace slowly, as though walking through an old observatory. The floorboards creaking, not with age, but with gravity. Around you, the stars are not just lights, they are experiments, reactions, they are the universe. Thinking, the first element you meet is hydrogen, simple, single, and immensely patient. It gathers in clouds that drift like thoughts. When the clouds become dense enough, gravity presses inward, and hydrogen feels a warmth it hasn't known before. This is where the chemistry of stars begins, not with a bang, but a squeeze, a tender kind of pressure that says, you're ready. Now you imagine hydrogen nuclei, like soft marbles, fusing into helium. It's not easy. It takes heat and time and trust. But when it happens, energy bursts forth, light, warmth, the heartbeat of a star. This process is called nuclear fusion, but tonight you don't need the name. You only need the feeling. That transformation takes time, and sometimes pressure is the beginning of light dot in these star labs. The periodic table is written in fire. Over eons, helium becomes carbon, carbon becomes oxygen, and oxygen becomes iron. Each element, a layer, a chapter, a mood. These are the same ingredients that make your bones, your breath, the thoughts you're having now. The very calcium in your teeth, the iron in your blood, they were once curled in the belly of a star. You drift closer to a red giant. A star near the end of its life. It pulses gently, like someone breathing in their sleep. There's no panic in its aging, only expansion. A kind of wisdom. It knows that even in collapse, something beautiful is forming. It might become a white dwarf or go out with a bang, a supernova. That explosion will scatter its elements across the sky like confetti. That debris might someday form planets. Or you. There's something comforting about this rhythm. About how death in the universe is not the end, but an offering. Every loss becomes matter for something new. And time, once again, is not a thief, but a sculptor. You rest your head deeper into the pillow and feel this vast chemistry working inside you. Your cells hum with it. Your breath carries oxygen born in the stars. Even now, your body conducts silent reactions, exchanging energy, creating heat, healing, renewing. You are a walking experiment of cosmic origin, and no moment is wasted. In your process, above you, galaxies swirl like ink in water. Each one holds billions of stars, each with its own timeline, its own slow chemistry. If you listen closely, not with your ears, but your awareness, you can almost hear the hum of those nuclear furnaces, the patient forging of the universe's building blocks. And in that sound, there is no hurry. There is only process. You may feel small in all this, a single being in a scattered cosmos. But smallness is not insignificance, it's intimacy. A star is far away, but its light touches you across time. And your presence, however quiet, is part of this enormous balance. You are not outside the universe. You are stitched into it. Tonight, the stars keep working, fusing, building, aging, releasing. And you keep dreaming. Your mind, like a nebula, swirls with thoughts forming slowly, beautifully. You have all the time you need. After all, the universe is not in a rush, and neither are you. Let yourself drift with this awareness. Let it rock you gently. The chemistry of time doesn't demand that you understand it all now. It only asks that you rest in it, that you trust your own becoming, and just as your thoughts settle, one more idea flickers, quiet and golden. If the stars could speak, what might they whisper as they work? In the great black canvas above you, galaxies turn like luminous spirals of slow, eternal breath. Their arms curl through eons, whispering secrets of time's ancient memory. Each spiral is a story of dust, gravity, and patience beyond measure. And in their motion, you glimpse the rhythm of a cosmos that never hurries, never forgets. Tonight, you float with them, gently turning with a spiral clock of galaxies. Look up and let your thoughts dissolve into the sky. Above your resting body, beyond clouds, past planets and comets, lies a darkness dusted with stars, a silence vast and deep, where galaxies spin like slow dancers in a ballroom of forever. You are here on this small earth, but your mind, your breath, your curiosity, they drift outward, drifting gently, without effort, toward a distant galaxy. It may be Andromeda, or it may be one that has no name in human tongues. But it is there, real and turning, quietly pulling light around. Itself like a shawl of memory. A spiral galaxy is not in a rush. Its arms curve outward like the unfurling of a fern, or the swirl in your morning coffee. The light you see from it left long ago, perhaps 2 million years past, and only now reaches your eyes. In this way, when you gaze upon the sky, you are gazing into time. Each galaxy, each star, is a message written in light and sent across unimaginable distance. The spiral shape is no accident. It is the natural language of motion and balance, a whisper between matter and gravity. Stars, gas, and cosmic dust follow paths written by invisible hands, the hands of physics, the pull of time, the patience of space. Like ripples in a pond that never ends, galaxies turn again and again, never stopping, never repeating quite the same way. You may wonder, why spirals? Why not circles or lines or something more chaotic? And the answer, like so much in the universe, lies in balance, in the delicate conversation between gravity and angular momentum. Just as a figure skater spins faster when pulling their arms. Galaxies find their own rhythm as mass moves, as gravity whispers, as stars respond. Their spiral arms are not made of things clumped together, but of waves, like traffic on a busy road, moving slowly in places and faster in others. The stars are always in motion, but the spiral shape remains, like the melody of a song, even as the notes change, as you breathe slowly. Imagine riding one of those arms, your body weightless, your thoughts drifting behind you like stardust. You are carried not quickly, but steadily on a path that wraps outward like a shell. And around you are billions of stars, not burning fast, but pulsing steadily, some in infancy, others near their silent end. The spiral is not just a shape, it's a signature. Galaxies remember the past in their curves. Some have been twisted by collision, others have slowly evolved, their arms loosening with age. And yet, each remains a clock, not the kind that ticks in seconds, but in ages. A single rotation may take hundreds of millions of years. Imagine that, a year so long, no human could live to see its turning. But the galaxy turns anyway, indifferent to our small measures of time. Your body, lying still now, carries atoms that were born in such a galaxy. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the oxygen in your breath, all were forged in ancient stars long before Earth even existed. You are not just watching a galaxy. You are part of its history, a quiet footnote in the song of its spiral arms. And if you could hear it, truly hear the galaxy, you would not hear chaos or noise. You'd hear rhythm. You'd hear the pulse of something vast, something older than memory, moving in its own time, never needing to rush. Even black holes, those centers of unseeable gravity, rest at the hearts of galaxies, not devouring everything in rage, but holding the center still, anchoring motion, shaping light. They do not scream, they hum. A deep, slow hum you cannot hear, but might feel deep in your chest, like a lullaby from the universe itself. As galaxies drift further apart over billions of years, the sky will one day grow emptier. But tonight it is still full of spiral clocks, ticking not with numbers but with stars. And each tick is a supernova, a new planet, a quiet rotation in the dark. You lie here, your eyes closed now, but in your mind the arms of the galaxy curl around you. Soft light, endless turnings, a cradle not of wood but of space and time. And in that cradle you sleep. You belong to the spiral, to its patience, to its quiet rhythm. You are one note in a long, cosmic song, and you are enough. Soon, another thought will find you. Another shape of time, another layer of science gently unfolding. But for now, breathe in the spiral. Breathe out the stars. Let the galaxy carry you, slowly, steadily, deeper into sleep. And somewhere, in the quiet curve of a distant galaxy, time continues to flow, not forward or back, but outward, like arms reaching for eternity.